Hello everybody and welcome to the latest CADS call-in. The first time we're going to do one of these with an actual CAD, apart from myself of course. Oh hang on, there's no light on me. You guys are seeing me in the dark. There you go. Oh, blimey, bright. Hello! And we're going to say hello to Ash. How you doing, Ash?
All right, mate. Great to be here again. Wow, a new season.
New season. I don't know how many this is for us. We started this when Potch was in charge. So we've been doing this a while now, but yeah, we're going to need to work out how many seasons we've been doing this.
Good to be back.
Excellent.
You know, it's for some reason in my mind, as the new season starts, I smell the fresh cut grass, and it's still summer and whatever. Of course, I'm in LA, so it's summer here all the time. And the gardener actually is outside cutting the grass as we speak. But anyway, there is no football pitch outside. But this time,
the fresh cut grass, and it's not just the guy outside doing the work for you.
Exactly. It's interesting about the soccer because that's the feeling. But also the NFL starts in September, and I have a different sensation about that because I've covered the NFL for so many years. Is that it's September, so there's a bit of chill, especially because of the East Coast and whatever. There's a bit of chill in the air, and the leaves are turning, and then that's gridiron football starting. So this is right now we're in soccer football mode. Good to be back.
Yeah, I've had it's been seemingly for me it's been a weird summer, right? The summer started with a bang. And then ever since, after the first few weeks, it's all gone quiet. And it's just been rumour and innuendo after that. So for me, it's been like both the most exciting summer transfer window, but also one of the most boring summer transfer windows.
Okay, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
Well, no, disagree. Go ahead.
All right. And it's not just me being caddy, so to speak. But we've had problems in the past. We've actually got rid of players. Some of the players, I'm going, why did we get rid of them? Anyway, we've got rid of some players, and some players we needed to get rid of, quite frankly. Yeah. And we've been stuck with them in the past. I think that after those, as you said, quite rightly said, that initial splurge, there have been things going on, players going out, and also I think two important contract either extensions or renewals or whatever they call them with both Pedro and Van de Ven, who are two very key players for us. So I actually think there's been quite a bit going on. I'll be honest, I find most of the podcasts are just freaking boring because they never used to be around because they're talking about, okay, oh, we're close to Savino, or we're like half an inch closer to gap pole or whatever. So I don't even listen to them. I listen to the ones they go, okay, let's just talk about what De Zerbi is changing, and that's quite frank. I wouldn't mind talking. I hope callers might go, hey, what has been changing? What can we look forward to, as opposed to going, what don't we have? Because if you don't have it, you don't have it. Anyway, that's just my 50 years being a fan. How about that?
50 years this year?
Roughly. I can't remember exactly when I became. I was a nipper.
We've all been there at some point. We've all been nippers and then grown out of the nipper stage. But I've got a few more years to catch up. I'm at 30 years this year. This year? No. 30 years last season. Yeah, was my first. Yeah, so my first season was 94, 95. So work that out. So 32 years this season. So
I can't remember what you said. Who your parents supported? My dad supported Man U. So this is an apocryphal tale, but quick tale. I actually wrote it in a script. I actually suggested that my dad probably dropped his cup of tea when I said, "Come on, you Spurs!" It's not quite like that, but that's a good way to describe it because you would say my son and heir not even supporting the team I support. It was a big disappointment for him.
I think I got lucky. Neither of my parents are into football. In fact, I'm the only one in the family who's into football. And sadly, that's
Okay.
extended into my own family now. None of my kids or my wife are interested. It's all down to
Oh,
me.
the boys are not. Oh, the boys are not interested either. Oh, okay.
Not yet. Let's hope for the little one. Let's hope for the little one. Maybe he's going to be into it. But
Yeah.
so far, the two bigger boys, nah. The oldest was a fan when Sonny was with us. And then when Sonny left, he seemed very disheartened by it, and he no longer wanted to watch Tottenham games because Sonny wasn't playing. So now I'm trying to get him back in, and I say, if you like Sonny, there's this kid called Luca Williams-Barnett who you're absolutely gonna love. But yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll see.
Which is one of the things. Continuing on what you were saying about, I actually think that that's actually another sense of excitement. Um, some of the younger guys we haven't loaned out or sold.
Yeah,
This gentleman, the young lad, he actually looks like a guy now because he has a beard as opposed to just the fresh face. Luca Williams Barnett, Mikey Moore,
yeah,
and I mean Tell is only 21. Gray is probably 20, maybe 21.
20.
And 20, there you go. And Berival, probably only 20 or 21.
Yeah,
We still have some very exciting youth. And what I have seen in preseason is that, like, for instance, making Gray the captain. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if Porro is not back or Van der Ven are not back for Saturday's game. I wouldn't be surprised if Gray leads us out for the season opener. So to me, there are some other exciting things apart from we don't have it's obvious what we don't have.
yeah.
But I don't like to cry over spilt milk. If it's not there, it's not there.
No, I agree. I think Gray is going to be the captain for this game. We're not far off. We are going to be doing a proper CADS episode tomorrow, talking about that game. But while we're here, we could have a quick look at it, see what's going on. But who do you expect to start? I think Gray is probably going to be there because we've seen nothing of Porro, and he's only just really come back from his little jaunt over the summer where he did something interesting. But
Yeah.
yeah, what do you
By the
reckon?
way,
Who's going to play?
well, just by speak, I will tell you. But that when he returned to Hotspur Way and had that sort of guard of honor, if you
Yeah.
can call it that, I thought that was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and make him big up. I don't know if he did that for Lloris, but it was just fabulous. So yeah, I'm looking at the back four. Kinski, I think is growing from strength to strength. Kinski, Gray, Van Hecke, who apparently is captain material. Van Hecke, because he talks and he's quite expressive on the pitch. Van Hecke, probably Senesi if Van der Ven is not ready. Although if Senesi is not quite ready to start, it might be Davis, and then Robertson on the left. So those are what I look is at the back four. What do you think?
So I mean, to me, it seems like they picked themselves right now. So yeah, I mean, Kinski in goal, Gray captaining the side over at right back.
Yep.
Long term, I do think he's a midfielder, but I think in this game and for this season, he's going to be switching in and out with Porro, and he'll get a few games in midfield as well when Porro's playing at right back. But generally, I think he'll be like the backup to Porro and future captain of the side. I don't think long term he's the captain. I think maybe it's going to be Van der Ven or Madison. But so I go Kinski, Gray, Van Hecke, as you said, because I mean there's no point leaving him out at this point. He plays exactly the way that Roberto De Zerbi wants him to. Plays it out from the back and looks excellent doing it. I think you're going to play Senesi next to him simply because he's been playing in some preseason games and we've seen nothing of Van der Ven. And apparently he might have a little niggle. That's why they're taking their time with him. It's interesting this season because we've introduced individual training programs, or we've got them training in small groups depending on where they are fitness wise, instead of having everyone together, just as a way of trying to avoid these injuries that we've had in the past. And then over on the left, although I'd love to see Udogie, again, I'm not sure if he's played any time in the preseason, and I think you want to go with a team that's played together and been put together in a defence and working properly and had some time on the pitch in pre-season. So again, it's got to be Robertson. So I think we both agree on that. What about midfield?
It also depends again on health, but Tonali speaks for himself. I think he's a terrific signing, and he's a De type of guy. Now, next to him, depending on where, by the way, I know we say Fernandez, not Fernandez with the Spanish one,
No,
but I've
Fernandes.
heard, yeah, well,
Yeah.
I've heard another one, Fernandez, like that. I've heard that pronunciation. Anyway, Fernandez, the Portuguese. He's Portuguese, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No. If he's available to start, I'd put him. If not, I would go with Berreval, who has been starting. I think he started 4 games, depending on Matthias, depending on his health. So that's where that, and then Gallagher as the number 10, which we have been playing that sort of situation. What do you think?
No, I agree. All those 3 work for me. Tonali, Fernandes, and Gallagher is the obvious combination right now. So Fernandes has been playing kind of like the second string. They haven't played him and Sandro together apart from one game, I think.
One game, yeah.
I'd like to see that happen. I want to see more of that. There we go. There's Mikey Moore, who is going to sign. I think Mikey Moore will be starting off the right. What about you?
Hey, absolutely. We really don't have an option. I really don't, unless you go. No, you'll go there. Unless you go. Okay, we're just going to put LWB out on the right wing. I don't think so, but you could. But no, okay. Him there, Richie in the middle, and then Tell, who I think I heard an interesting little podcast by a woman. There's a podcast called Also Spurs, and they do a lot of. I'm not really a data-driven guy, but there's this woman who came on. I think she used to play professional football. Sarah, I'm maybe getting her name wrong.
Enya Collins over on the Also Spurs channel. Yeah,
Enya is the one, and she came on and she looked up some stats that was surprising. And trust me, Stu, I don't know these things, but anyway, Tell off the left wing. If you put his stats into a central striker position, he actually ranks up. She said number 3 as a central striker. Her point being that maybe we actually have another striker in our midst if we get another left winger, which we don't know if we will. Anyway, but for Saturday's game, I'll go with Tell, Richie, and Mikey Moore.
Yeah.
Who were actually they were all of them, all 3 of them were involved in the 4 goals that we scored on the. Was it 4 goals we scored on the weekend? Was it 4 something? Or 3? Yeah, they were involved in all 3 goals.
Yeah.
Who else do we have? Luca Williams-Barnett, Donnelly. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I haven't heard of Solanke. He hasn't played any minutes.
There are images of Dominic Solanke training, and he released an Instagram post saying that he was ready to go or something like that. I don't know about him. I genuinely don't know about him at this point. He's suffered so many injuries over the last year and a half that you honestly can't rely on him. And you want to be able to rely on him, but you can't.
You can't.
So it's going to be Richarlison, who's had his own injury issues, and failing that, Dane Scarlett.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, I like Dane. I like Dane as a player, but I think there's a gulf between Dane Scarlett and Richarlison.
Just as a matter of interest, I can sort of predict what you're going to say, but were you a little bit disappointed with Lancashire being sold?
Not particularly. I thought the money was very good for a guy who scored 12 goals, 13 goals in a relegated side last season. I like him. I think he's a fantastic goal scorer. If all you want is a goal scorer. Does that make sense? And I know the first job of the guy who's playing up front is to put the ball in the back of the net. But at Spurs,
We do need a goal. We do need a goal
kind
scorer.
of need someone. But at Spurs, we play slightly differently and have done for quite a long time. We want someone who's going to drop back and who's going to knit the play together. And apparently, that's exactly what Roberto De Zerbi wants. Roberto De Zerbi is absolutely looking for someone who's going to drop back, he's going to press, he's going to, niggle the defenders and hopefully get them to make mistakes, but also link up with the wide players. And apparently, in his sides, Roberto De Zerbi sides, once he's got them playing the way he wants, which he didn't have with us last season, the wide players effectively playing as two wide strikers. So they'll be running onto the ball and getting lots of chances, which works great for Tell because, he came up as a striker. Maybe not quite so good for Mikey Moore.
Yeah, I believe Tell plays as centre forward for the France under-21. I don't know that. Apparently so. I think he could. I think he could have a breakout season for us under De Zerbi.
So. If we don't sign anybody, we're going to need him to have a breakout season because we've got effectively nobody else to go down the left, apart from Mikey Moore.
But
to get Mikey Moore off the right, we need to have Kulusevski or Kudus fit.
Absolutely. Have you heard any rumors? Not on Decky, but on Kudus? Did you just say, was he in training?
So Kudus apparently is back in full training. Kulusevski is back on the field, but there's a long way to go. With his injury, if we see him before November, I'd be surprised. But then we were expecting to see him last November, and that didn't work out. So it's one of those things I think you wait and watch and just see what comes up.
The thing with Madison, first of all, a couple of things. And, the last couple of years, with Charlie and I, 2 years ago, we were calling that, Madison shouldn't be starting just because he gets injured, and as much as we like him, he just doesn't get to contribute that much. When he does, he's great, but that's like when he does, but he's not there. It's like Romero. Well, when he does, but he's not there type thing, I was kind of surprised that he was getting some sub minutes in the run-in last year, and then something happened, and he might be suggesting nothing happened, but something obviously did happen. It could well be that it's just what happens after such a major injury. I just don't think we can depend on him, and I wouldn't make him captain either, because you do want to have your captain playing majority of the games. I don't believe that Madison can, and it's nothing against him as a person. By the way, it's one thing about De Zerbi. In the past, when some of my favorite players like Greavesy or Hoddle or Gaza, or Bale, left us, I felt, De Zerbi has just proven that, what I'm at? There's no sentimentality here. You don't want to play. Okay, we wish you well, and you're on your way. Or, as you just said with Lancashire or some of the other players who've gone, they don't fit his plan, and they're gone. That's just how it is, type thing,
Beyond Lancashire, I'm not sure there's too many people who'd be upset. Here we go. Perfect. This is what you want in podcasting. Beyond Lancashire, let's start that again. I don't think there are too many people who are unhappy about the players that have left. Yeah. Spence, I thought Spence was great, but on another podcast I said I expected him to go simply because I think he'd come back from the World Cup wanting to be the first choice right back. And he's not going to get that ahead of Pedro Porro. And that's exactly what's happened. You know, by the sound of it, he had a chat with Roberto De Zerbi even before the World Cup and said, I want to be the starter next season. And he was told, yes, we'll see how it goes, but it's kind of unlikely. Cuti Romero, it's a shame. It's a shame he's left because he is a fantastic defender. But we got his replacement in even before the transfer was made. And the replacement's been able to play pre-season, the entire pre-season. And in some ways, I'm not saying I'm not saying he's a better player, but he's a little bit more suited for the role that Roberto De Zerbi wants him to fill, because he's unlikely to get sent off as much, although he does make a few rash challenges, and he knows exactly the way that Roberto De Zerbi wants to play because he played under him at Brighton. He'll hold on to the ball, he'll put his foot on the ball and wait to draw someone out, and he's got no worries about holding off, right? The lawnmower guy just came back in with a vengeance. Yeah, so...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, don't worry. The chances are that we'll be better off with Van Hecke there than we would have been with Romero.
Yep. So who else will you say of the ones that went out? There's also Vicario.
Well, Vicario is only on loan, although he's likely to be leaving long term. I think it's been fairly clear that A, he wanted to leave, and B, Roberto De Zerbi wanted a goalkeeper who's better on the ball. And both of those things have come true now. You know, we've got a goalkeeper who's better on the ball, and Vicario's gone to, I think, his first choice club. I think Juventus were his first choice club. You still with me?
Spence score. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Just about.
Yeah.
There's a fair bit of noise in the background.
Nothing I can do about it.
I know. Not your fault.
And it just so happens that we do these on Wednesday because they come on Wednesday, middle of the week, and he comes about 11:30 or so our time. Just the thing about Spence, I just noted a little something. Essentially, Spence going to Romero going to Atletico.
Yeah.
We've essentially swapped Gallagher for Romero in terms of money's involved. Money's involved anyway. You know what I mean? And I think Gallagher won't set the world on fire. Actually, if he does, great. But he's going to be solid, and he works his butt off, and I think he's a De Zerbi type of guy. So it's kind of interesting. It's good. People complain. Of course, that was another question I wanted to ask. Do we as Spurs fans moan or complain more than other teams' fans? I don't go onto other teams' websites or whatever, so I don't know. But the few times in the past when I've gone to Arsenal TV when they've lost, I'm going, boy, they complain an awful lot over here.
So I don't think we're any better or worse than other clubs. Because realistically, everybody likes to have a bit of a moan, and we're not any better off or any worse off than those guys. I think people moan. That's just the way it is.
Anyway, who else?
The thing I do consider is whether we get more representation or more coverage in the media than other clubs. And why would that be? Well,
meaning what?
Why is there so much a focus on Tottenham? You know, it always seems to be, this is going on at Spurs, that's going on at Spurs. Maybe it's just the echo chamber I'm in. I'm getting the news because I'm a Spurs fan. But, you look on the BBC, there seems to be a story about Spurs almost every day in there. And certainly when we were having our troubles last season, all of the time. And maybe they're going on about Nottingham Forest just as much on TalkSport. Maybe they're going on about Crystal Palace just as much, but I don't see it. and on the phone-in shows I do listen to, it's not that often you get someone who comes in and bemoans their club as much as they get Spurs fans on. Although we've had a lot to moan about the last couple of years.
Yeah, I wonder if what you're just talking about is the fact that we are a big club and a London club, and whether there is just, it's an antipathy towards London, the big teams, and the smaller teams, smaller cities. Are just, that's a natural thing. I think Los Angeles gets it, or New York might get it, where people in smaller markets are complaining or always looking to pull down the Yankees or the Red Sox or whatever the teams might be. That there could be that element there. There's a great scene in, I think it's Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels, where the two guys are actually at a strip bar, and there's a great song playing in the background, and they both say those something like those northern wankers and the southern pussies, and I'm going, that's probably what the North and the South think of each other, and it could well be that they think London clubs are a bit of pussies, a little bit weak, a little bit of fat, a little bit more money. Could be. Well, I must admit we've had a lot of very skillful and players in playing for Tottenham over the years, and there could be a dislike, an antipathy towards that sort of play, or even our thing to dare is to do, that we want to play beautiful football. Maybe the people in Yorkshire go, well, we don't want to play that. We want to actually win games. We want to win trophies. That's what we want to do, So anyway, there are elements. This is just me doing my storytelling aspect of it, over the years. Anyway, that's it. Who else went out? Anybody else that we might have?
Ashley Phillips.
Yeah, didn't see enough. He's gone, right?
Yeah,
he's gone. Yeah.
Decent championship defender, but unsure whether he'd make the step up to the Premier League, and he's clearly not going to get a chance with us. And of course, Alfie Devine. Alfie Devine,
who I never really saw, but you actually followed him. I'm sure that De Zerbi is looking at what we've got coming up, and we can. I like the fact we're actually making some money off these people, which is great, And if you could think about all the ones who've gone out, that initial expenditure on those three players has dropped down dramatically, maybe by 100 million, because of the people that have gone out, Maybe more.
Apparently, we're now only the 7th biggest spenders in the league. We're behind Ipswich. So,
wow! For this window.
For this window, Ipswich have.
Wow.
If you take into account sales, Ipswich have spent more than us. So I think we're down to about 110 million, something like that.
Wow! There you go.
So I still think there's a big chunk more to be spent, and also some more players who are likely to leave and come back. We'll see what happens. We've got loads more players to go out on loan as a minimum, and then probably a couple more players to leave the club. Plenty of players being linked. Yeah. Put it that way. Udogie's being linked to Roma. Wouldn't want that to happen. Who else? Bentancur's had a couple of links to clubs in Italy. Nothing major, nothing really believable. And of course, as a club, we are getting linked to just about any fit striker with two decent knees. So yeah.
I mentioned this in the CADS forum last season, last 2 seasons, because we've played Bodo 3 times in the last 2 seasons. There are at least 3 players. One of them was like Jans Peter something, and I forget who the other guys were. But there were at least 3 attacking players on that team, and I remember watching at the time going, boy, they look good at Spurs, And I'm just wondering if we're going after, how much did Ericsson cost when we brought him in, we're going after these big money players when if you do a little bit more work and effort in scouting, maybe there are some guys like one of these Bodo players or one of some other guy. I know he wants Premier League. I understand that Premier League players, but maybe there's some one of those guys could come in and playing in a northern climate would be suited to Britain, UK, playing in England. So anyway, I'm always
Well, I know
looking at
one of
options.
those guys has gone to Celtic. Casper Her, I think his name is. H-O-G-H.
Okay.
With a one. The O's got one of those lines
I
for it.
remember him.
Yeah,
I remember him. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's gone to Celtic
Okay.
and started well. I think he scored already. So, but you're right. They had 2 or 3 players there. But again, I think it's the same kind of thing we're going to see with the De Zerbi side. It's the system that's going to create the chances, which is what was happening with Buda. It was their system, the way they played. They knew what they were doing, and their movement within that system created the chances for the goal scorers. And that's what we've got to hope is going to happen with our lot.
Totally, and that's why, yes, we would like 2 more players in. But if we don't, I'm going to just rely on what you just said. You put it quite succinctly there, Stu, that the system is going to provide what we need, and that De Zerbi will go, this is what I got, this is what we'll do. It's only one transfer window. Maybe we'll have a look in the winter and next summer as well. So there will be hopefully there will be some by the winter window. There will be a couple of players coming back from that. What do you have you heard? Is it possibly that Decky will never play again? What do you think?
Lots of people saying that, but I mean, he had a bad injury. Before we go any further, we've actually got some comments. Lots of people saying big up. This is nice. So welcome to Spurs Live. Welcome to Aussie Ange. And welcome to Soulcrets, who named one of the players that you were asking about. His name was Patrick Berg of Buda. So yeah,
that's it. Exactly.
Definitely a guy I was thinking of. Absolutely. Will he ever play again? I think he will. His contract is coming down a little bit, so we really kind of ought to get him on a longer term contract. But until he's back on the field, I suspect the club won't be interested in doing that.
We talking about?
Kulusevski. Yeah. Yes,
unfortunately, because he was good. Player of the season until he got injured.
Yeah, no, he's a fantastic player when he's fit and on the field, and we just need a bit more of that. There's Mikey Moore again.
Why is he popping up?
Because we said more. There we go. Oh, and there we go. We've just lost Ash. Oh, he's coming back. Ash is rejoining us.
Hello.
Hey, mate, you're back with us. We lost you for a second.
Yeah. Why do these players pop up? What's the algorithm going on? What's going on?
So the system I created, this system, means when you say a player's name, as long as you say it in a way that the audio picks it up correctly, then they will pop up on the screen. So when you say Cuti Romero, there we go. That happens. When you say Kinski, that happens. But the problem is, it picks up whenever you say the word more, and it doesn't listen for Mikey more. So gotcha. You have to be careful on your tells and your Mattis tell and your Mikey Moores. Yeah, absolutely. You need to be careful. And we had Langer come up earlier, and yeah, he said that came up with Aussie Ange. Yeah,
I like it.
It's a nice little system. I like it.
It is a nice system.
It just needs a little. There he is. Needs a little bit of tweaking to make sure it gets absolutely perfect. But there's something.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's a great idea because you get used to it, and I would say Mikey Moore, or I would say Matisse Tell, as opposed to just when you really want that particular person to turn up, as opposed to just tell, and then nothing comes up. There you go.
Exactly. So it's going to be a good old season. We will see what happens long term. What is there anything particular you're excited about?
Uh, De Zerbi, first of all, just because
Yeah.
I do know, I do remember how exciting Brighton were, you know. In the bits I've seen of their games, I was actually out for a walk, and the Tottenham Hoffenheim game. There's these two Brits who are over here. They have a podcast called Men in Blazers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even look into it. For some reason, they showed the Spurs game live, so I was able to see it.
Yes.
I have noticed that there seems to be a lot more forward progression. I
Yeah.
believe that's why he bought guys like Senesi and Van Hecke, because I'd heard stats that those guys were two of the most progressive players in the Premier League with their passes. So I've already noticed that more forward passes, which is great. Great. You still got to dealing with the low block, which means that you got to have players who can either beat their man on the wings, or you'll need a number 10 who could unpick the lock, I guess it would be called, or pick the lock, I guess it would be called. So I am interested in what De Zerbi can actually do with the resources that he has available. And I, I'm feeling positive. I'm not being overboard as to win the title or anything ridiculous like that. But I am feeling a lot more positive, and it is another season, and one of the many that I've supported Spurs. I look forward to seeing. This is a new team. This is a new team that is being built up. Kane and Sonny and those guys, Romero, they're gone. Quite a. Listen, the scorer of our Europa, which is still just over a year ago, 14, 15 months ago, has gone and is now on his second team. Yeah. So we've almost pulled apart that particular team that actually won the Europa, and I hope he stays. De Zerbi. I hope he feels that he's challenged and he's feeling supported, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do with the resources that he. It's easy to buy these players, if it's Gakpo. Liverpool wants to sell him, but they want to replace him. If they want to sell Savinho, they want to replace him, and we would do the same thing, and we have done the same thing. So these things, I do hear a lot of moaning. Well, why aren't we doing this, and why aren't we doing that? And then when we do actually buy something, well, we're paying over the odds for them. I go, oh my goodness, you moan if you buy somebody, you moan if you don't buy somebody.
Yep.
Try and support the team. So anyway, I am looking forward to seeing primarily what De Zerbi does with the resources, and if indeed these guys like Tonali and Fernandes and even those two center backs, and even Kinski, let's see what contributions can he make, since apparently that's where really, really his whole system starts with that goalkeeper. So let's see what Kinski can add to the forward progression. So I'm excited about those things.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more attacking football this season. A little bit more possession, a little bit more enterprise, a little bit more intriguing play, a lot more goals from our players. That would be lovely, and just more exciting games and more home wins. I'm really hoping that's not asking for too much.
Yeah. Definitely more home wins. Well, we got one against Hoffenheim, so that, yay. Didn't have to wait till. Yeah.
So yeah, all right. Let's call things there. Thanks for joining us. Sadly, we didn't get anybody on tonight, but maybe next time. We will be doing a proper CADS video with the guys tomorrow night, and that'll probably be released on Friday. So keep your eyes open for that, everybody. If you're watching this now, please like, subscribe, do all those usual things so you don't miss any future videos that come out. But until then, everybody, come on, you Spurs, and we'll see you soon.
Come on, you